So in today's video, I'm going to discuss a React.js interview question where I was asked to create a scalable progress bar component. And to a lot of people, this might seem like a very easy problem, but trust me, it involves a lot of test case handlings and optimizations as well. So this is what we're supposed to build, progress bar with React.js. So as you can see right off the bat, they have given this UI over here that we have this progress bar over here, which is being filled with this greenish color. And as you can see, for 25%, it has filled 25% of the container, 40%, 69%, and for 100%, it has been filled completely. Right, so the requirement is to create a progress bar component and it should follow the following guidelines: that we should use React to build the user interface. Yep, that's self-explanatory. Display the percentage value in the middle, just like they have done it over here. We're supposed to add accessibility. So basically, accessibility means that people who have, some sort of, let's say, visual impairment. So there are tools like text-to-speech tools, which can announce to them that this is the element that they are currently hovering on, right? So we're supposed to add those accessibility tags, and I'm going to tell you how you can do that. And it should be a scalable component. Okay, we're going to take care of that as well. All right, fine. Let's go on and have a look at the actual component. So if I refresh this page, you're going to see. Yep, this is what we're supposed to create. And you can see that when this reaches 100%, this stops right there. That means there is some sort of edge case that must have been handled over here that stops it at 100%, right? So fine, we're going to take care of all of these things. So let's go on and open a new code sandbox. Okay, I'm going to click on new sandbox and select React. So first of all, let's go on and create our basic UI over here. So I'm going to get rid of all of these things. And in our styles.css as well, I'm going to clean it up. And over here, I'm going to add a span tag, which is going to say progress bar. Cool. Now for our actual progress bar component, we're going to go on and create a new folder called components. And inside of this, I'm going to add a new file called progressbar.js. So I'm going to create a new component over here, progress bar, which will take a value as a param. The value will be of the percentage value, right? So I'm going to say value, and inside of it, I'm going to simply return. So there are two things over here. If we go back, we have this whole parent div container, and then we have this percentage value inside of it. So we're going to first create a parent div. So div, I'm going to give this a class name of progress. Inside of this, I'm going to create a span tag, which will contain the value of our percentage. So simply, we have this value. And what if the user sent us the decimal value over here, right? So we're supposed to round that off. So we're going to write to fixed. And what this will do is, let's say if our value was, I don't know, 23.5. So it will just say 23 over here. It will just remove all of the numbers after the decimal. Cool, let's go on and import it in our app.js. Import progress bar from ./component/progress bar. Expected a string. Oh, we're not exporting it from over here. So export default progress bar. But now there's a problem over here. As you can see, when we're rendering this progress bar over here, we are not providing it the value, right? So we have to keep some default value. And this is also, you can say, one of the edge cases. So we can just put 0 over here as a default value so that it's going to print 0 when we're not providing it any value. But what if we are providing it any value? Let's say 25. So it's just going to display 25 over here. And also, I think I should display the percentage symbol over here as well. Cool. Now let's go on and work on some UI. I'm just gonna give it some font family first. It's not really necessary. If it's the part of the requirement, then you can do it. But I just like to add the sans serif font family so that it looks good. Now for our app class, I'm gonna say display flex. Okay, so the class name is app. Okay, small app. All right. So after that, we're supposed to say flex direction to be column so that it renders from top to bottom. Then I'm going to say align items to be center so that it's rendered in the center of the screen. And then I'm just going to give it some gap of 7 pixels. Yep, that's fine. It's in the middle of the screen now. All right, let's go on and give some UI to this progress bar now. So class name was progress. Okay, so I'm going to say dot progress. This will have some height and width. Let's say 20 pixel of height and width of 500 pixels. Let's just give it a background color first. Now you can give it any sort of color. I have decided that I'm going to give it RGB 233, 236, 239. So if you don't know what color to give, just simply ask your interviewer that what color does he prefer that you can add over here, right? Else you can just add any grayish color so that it looks good in the background. Alright, now I'm going to give it some border, 1 pixel, solid black, or probably gray or something like that. It is on you. So, and then I'm going to give it some border radius. Okay, now next, if you notice, we have this fill over here as well, right? So for that, we're supposed to create another div. So I'm going to create a div over here. You can also use pseudo elements, but to make this simple, I'm just going to use a div over here. So I'm not going to touch that right now, but before that, let's give this span some styles. So I'll say dot progress, and I'm going to target span. I'll say position to be absolute so that we can align it anywhere in between this progress bar. Display to be flex, justify content center so that it's in the center. But why is it not working? It's because we haven't provided the width to it. So width should be 100% so that we can, make this work. So okay, yeah, you can see it's working. And let's make it align to the center as well. So vertically aligned to the center. So align items to be center. And I don't think that makes much difference. But if this progress bar had more height, then we would have needed this align item center line. So I'm just going to leave it over here. Okay, cool. I think that's for our basic UI now. Let's go on and simulate our progress bar. So inside of our app.js, I'm going to create a state with use state. Now, what is use state? So use state basically gives us a variable which we can name anything. I'm going to name it value, and it gives us another function called set value, which obviously you can name anything, which can be used to change this value, which I'm going to show you how you can do that. And over here, we're supposed to provide the initial value for this, which I'm going to give 0, right? So now I'm going to have a use effect hook, and inside of this use effect takes a callback and dependency array. Now I'm going to keep this dependency array empty so that this use effect runs only once. And what we're going to do inside of the use effect, we're going to say set interval. So set interval basically is going to run this function again and again for some fixed amount of time, after every fixed amount of time. So I'm just going to give, let's say, 100 milliseconds over here, and I'm going to say set value to be value plus 1, so that this will increase value by 1 every time this runs every 100 milliseconds. Okay, let's see if I take this value and provide it over here. My bad. So this set interval, what it does is it runs at the very end of our function, right? After everything has run. So it doesn't have the current context of this value. So instead of this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use another power of set value or of use effect. It provides us a callback as well. So from callback, we can take the very current value. So I'm just going to say val over here and val plus 1. So we don't even need to use this over here. It can simply take the current value from here and it's just gonna add 1 to it. Yep, you see, our progress bar is running successfully. But there's a problem over here. As you can see, when it exceeds the 100th value, it goes on and on and on and on. So we have to take care of this use case as well. So I'm gonna comment it out for now. And I'm gonna go inside of this progress bar over here, and I'll create a use state over here as well, which will store our current percentage. So I'll say percent, comma, set percent. Initial value will be the value variable itself. And now inside of our use effect, whenever this component renders for the first time, or in fact, whenever this value changes, what we're gonna do, we're gonna say set percent, and inside of this, I'm gonna handle our edge cases basically. And the edge cases will be what's the very minimum value, that is 0, and what's the very maximum value, 100. The value of percent should remain between both of these numbers only. So that is what we're gonna take care of over here. So I'm gonna say math.min. So this function decides what's the minimum between two values or more than that as well. So we're gonna say what's the minimum between 100 and the current number inside of this value variable over here. So we're gonna say math.max value, comma 0. Okay, what have I done over here? Let's see. So let's say the number inside of this value was 50. So it's gonna check over here what's maximum. Is 0 maximum or 50, which was provided inside of this value. So 50 is maximum, right? So we're gonna take that. And then it's gonna compare what's minimum between 100 or 50. So 50 is minimum, right? So that's why we're gonna take 50. But let's say if user provided us something like minus 50. So over here it's gonna come. It's gonna check math.max minus 50 or 0. So 0 is obviously max between both of these, right? So it's gonna reject that minus 50 value. So this is how we took care of the validation. But let's say if the value was more than 100, let's say 150. So over here it's gonna come max.max 150 and 0. So 150 is the maximum, right? That's fine because this is taking care of the minimum value, right? But over here when it compares 100 and 150, then it's gonna see that okay, 100 is minimum over here, so we're not gonna allow 150 as well. So this way we took care of both of the edge cases, the number less than 0 and the number more than 100, right? So obviously we're gonna here provide in the dependency array, we want to run this use effect every time this value changes. So I'm gonna provide it right over here. And yeah, that is it. That is all we need to do. Let's take our percentage and provide it over here. Let's try to run it again. So if I go over here, uncomment this, there we go. Our percentage is increasing. Let's wait. Yep, it doesn't go beyond 100%. Awesome. Now let's go on and add this animation over here. This fill animation that you see. We're gonna add that next. But before that, if you're preparing for your front-end interview and you would like me to help you in your front-end interview preparation, just click the link in the description down below and book a one-on-one call with me. We're gonna discuss tips, tricks. I'm gonna give you a lot of resources. I'm gonna design a proper roadmap tailored to your situation, which is gonna help you out a lot in your front-end interview preparation. So click the link in the description down below and book a one-on-one call with me. Okay, so inside of our progress bar, we have this div over here, right? Let's go to our styles. So styles.css, and I'm gonna say dot progress, and I'm gonna target the div over here. Cool. I'm gonna give this div some height of 100% because obviously if you see over here, we have the height spanning to the 100%. Cool. We're gonna give this width. For now, we're just gonna give this width of 20% and a background color of what was provided to us in the sheet. So let's take this background color. Just like that. Yep, you can see our progress bar has started to appear. But wait, I can see one more problem over here. As you can see, this is going out of this boundary. How can we handle that? We have to control this overflow, so we can write inside this progress class overflow hidden. And just like that, it will hide that overflow. Great. Now, obviously, we can't control the width from over here, right? So I'm going to take this width from here, go over here, and I'm going to give this a style of width of whatever percentage, that is the value of the current percent. So I'm going to take this percent over here, and I'm going to say inside of the backticks, I'll write percentage and this percentage symbol over here. So now if I reload this, awesome, our progress bar looks amazing. But we're not done yet. If you go back to our requirements, it says proper UI UX design and responsiveness, right? So in terms of UI, I can see one major flaw right out of the gate. So if I refresh this, you're gonna see this number right now is black, right? But as soon as this passes this, it turns into white so that we can properly see it inside of the progress bar, right? So simply what we're gonna do inside of this span, I'm gonna say style, color, and percent. If it's more than 49, then it should be white. Else it should be black. Let's see how it works. Okay. Awesome. So it's working as expected. Alright, now we're supposed to add the accessibility into this. Now let's see what accessibility is all about. So I'm going to search accessibility in web. So what is accessibility? Accessibility is practice of making your website usable by as many people as possible, as I already mentioned. So let's say if some person who is visually impaired and cannot see properly on what is written inside of your website, right? So the text-to-speech tools can help him out. but we as a web developer, we need to add that information inside of our components so that that text to speech can pick it up. Like for example, for our progress bar, we need to add the information that what is the current percentage in this progress bar, what's the least value that can be added, what's the maximum value that can be added, right? So we're going to use such accessibility tags in this. So if you search accessibility states and properties, you're gonna get into this page which has a lot of such tags over here, and we're gonna search for role tag. First of all, we're supposed to define what current role is of this tag. This is a progress bar, right? So let me just Google it. Area role tag. So yeah, you can see we have bunch of different roles over here, and yep, here it is, progress bar role. So the progress bar role defines an element that displays the progress status for the task that take a long time, right? So to write this, we're gonna just need to write this role equals progress bar. Just go over here inside of this progress bar, and we can add role equals progress bar. Awesome. Now there are more things, as I already mentioned, that we're supposed to define the least value, the maximum value. So let's see. If we go over here, I'm gonna search min value probably, or maybe it's value min. Yep, there it is. So we're gonna we need all three things: value min, value now, and value max. I think, yeah, there it is, value max. So I'm gonna add over here area value min, which is 0, and value max, which is 100, and the current value, which is this percent, right? So in fact, I'll write percent to fixed here as well. So value now, I think, right? Value now, yep. There we go. So yeah, that is all we needed to do to add the accessibility to our progress bar. And obviously, most of the times we don't really remember what the exact area tag is called. So usually the interviewers do give you the benefit to Google about it, but the ground level requirement is that you need to know what the accessibility is and what you need to search to get there, right? Because that is what we do in the real world as well. If you're enjoying this tutorial up until this point, open your Instagram app right now and search Roadside Coder and hit that follow button as hard as you can, because I'm very active on Instagram, and if you have any doubts, any queries, or just a normal message, you can ping me on Instagram for this. So go on, do it. I'm waiting. What? I'm being serious over here. Open your Instagram app right now and follow me there. Oh, you've already done it? Okay, let's move on with this video. Now I'm gonna just refactor our code a little bit for this max and min value. As you can see, these are being used at multiple places. So I'm gonna create a new file for our constants. Constants.js, and inside this file I'm just gonna say export min export const to be 0, and similarly max to be 100, right? And I'm gonna simply use that over here. So whenever there's 100, I'm gonna say max, and whenever there's 0, I'm gonna say min. Let's import these. So import from /constants. Oops, I mean /back and then constants. So I'm gonna import max and min. Okay, yep, that looks good. So our code is much cleaner now. Alright, now the interviewer asked me, what if you're not supposed to use this width over here? Can you do this by using some better CSS styling which will optimize our performance? So doing these animations and all with width is kind of bad for our performance, right? So we can use something like scale. We can say, instead of the width, I'm gonna comment this out, I'm gonna say style, and transform. Inside of the backtick, I'm gonna say scale x, because horizontally we're gonna scale it, right? So scale x. And inside this, I'm going to provide the value of scale, which is going to be our percentage divided by maximum, because scale is gonna spread both of the sides, right? So I'm just gonna give it percentage divided by max, so that we can just, yeah, over here you can see, let me just show you, it's spreading both sides, right? So if I start from over here, from the very left, it's gonna go to the very end. So if I just show you, comma, transform origin to be not inside of it, outside of it, to be left. Now if I reload it, yep, you see it starts from the very left now and it ends there. Also you can see the percentage is hiding behind it. So I am gonna go to styles.css and I'm gonna say z index to be, let's say 2. Yeah, now it's gonna come above it. So by default this progress bar has z index of 1 or maybe 0, I think, but I've given this z index 2 so that it has the higher value now and it's gonna come above it now. And as you can see, this position has also been shifted for this percentage. So to accommodate that, I'm gonna say position to be relative, so that it's relative to the parent container, and now it's in the very center. Alright, now next, as you might remember in our requirements, there was the requirement that it should be a scalable component. Now how do I do that? So being a scalable component means that we can provide a bunch of things from outside of progress bar. Like for example, we can say on start, what happens on start? There can be a function over here regarding it, right? That whenever our progress bar starts, there can be like on complete, that whenever the progress bar is complete, do something about it. We can provide some custom classes to it, some custom styles to it, so that we can control this component fully from the outside. There can be a function like on reach certain percentage, that let's say if I reach 69%, we are supposed to do something, right? That is what the answer that I gave to the interviewer, and the interviewer asked me to implement one of these things. So I decided to implement on complete. So on complete will basically run when this progress bar reaches 100. So if I go inside this progress bar, I'm gonna take an on complete function over here, which by default is going to be a function. Now inside this use effect, I'm gonna say if value is more than or equals max. If that's the case, then I'm gonna run on complete. Simple enough. Let's go and try it out. So I'm going to create a state over here called success, which is going to signify if the progress bar has been completed or not. And when this completes, I'm going to say success to be true. Cool. And where I'm going to use it? I'm going to use it right over here. I'm going to create a span. Inside of the span, I'm going to say if success is true, then I'm going to say complete. But if it's false, then I'm gonna say loading. Let's try it out. Let's reload it. Yep, you can see it's loading. And as soon as it completes, it's gonna fire off this on complete function and it's gonna show us complete. So this is how you built a progress bar, a scalable progress bar with all of the functionalities, all of the edge cases handled, and the accessibility added as well. And also you can find this complete code on my GitHub. Link will be in the description down below. And if you're interested to watch more such React.js interview questions, click this card above my head to access the complete playlist.